We have a Neptune retrograde that's taking place, and it's stationed, and it's going to be going retrograde until the 29th of November. And I'm just going to look at this chart with you and show you a few things. So we have Neptune at 20 degrees. If we look over here where my pointer is, you can see that it's got Neptune at 2057 here, Pisces, and it's stationed. You see the ST there, it's stationed. So that's going to take place, and then I'm going to push this one day forward. This is AstroSeek, by the way, so I do highly recommend that you use this site, and also astro.com is another brilliant one I use. So then we've got Neptune retrograde from the 25th of June, and what will happen is that we're then going to have that go on until the 29th of November. It's going to go back to 18 degrees. So, you know, I think if you don't know, Neptune takes 184 years to move around the chart, and it's in Pisces at the moment, and it's in a weak conjunction with Mars. And if we just look at a few of these things that are going on, we've got the Sun square Mars at the moment. So if you look at the Sun here, we've got the Sun square Mars here. We've also got the Sun quincunx Saturn. So the Sun is, and Saturn's up here, but it's not showing on the chart. It's at an angle which is, you know, something can't be seen, but the Sun is shining a light on something, and Saturn is to do with our restriction. And then we've got the Sun sextile Uranus. So the Sun, and it's in a sextile to Uranus, which is just here. You can see that little blue line there, that's 60 degrees. And then we've got the Moon doing certain things, but the Moon moves quite quickly, so I won't go into that right now. We've got Mercury also sextile Uranus. So Mercury is here, retrograde also at 13 degrees of Cancer, and it's going back to 5 degrees. And that is going to keep going retrograde until the 12th of July, and then it will go forward again. So we have a lot going on, but with this Neptune, we basically, you know, also we've got our conjunction up here with the 3 retrogrades, and that Saturn is literally just going to be moving back into Capricorn, and they're going to meet up again as they did on the 12th of January. They were all at 22 degrees, or the Sun, and we had Saturn and Pluto, which shows the breakdown of our structure as we know it. So with Neptune, what we're really looking at, we want to know in our chart where that's taking place for us. But Neptune is retrograde, it does point to Pluto, and it's also to do with our soul. So Neptune is beyond the 5 senses. You know, you can think about when you're asleep, or we go into a dream state. It's like our 5 senses are not obvious to us at that time. And then when it's retrograde, it's there's an accelerated evolutionary desire to where we throw off that our delusions. So where we've been deluded, we stop becoming, you know, we stop being deluded. It's like it removes the rose-colored glasses from us, and it's what has not been real that we thought was real becomes more, you know, we really get real. We really begin to finally understand something. Its emphasis is to do with disillusionment. Mercury, sorry, not Mercury, Neptune is to where we're being disillusioned, and it's we have a point of view about something that may contain, you know, the idea of wearing rose-colored glasses. And also what will happen is that when it goes retrograde, we're also looking at the other planets that it's working with at that time, which is really important. So it will burst bubbles, and it bursts the bubbles of our own illusions and delusions and anything we've given false meaning to, and it helps to unconfuse our souls, and it gets to an ultimate reality about what, you know, God means to us and whatever we want to really understand in life. But again, it's going to depend on where it's happening for us in our own chart. So it happens every year, and when it does happen, it's to do with confusion, that Neptune is the god of the sea. It's our dreams, it's a dreamy planet, it's our imagination as well, and it's also where we've got psychic inspiration, and it's where we can be flaky and in our lives as well. What we've got is that we've been through a lot clearly this year, so this retrograde can make it hard to separate the facts from fiction. and we need to practice self-care at this point, and we need to, you know, understand that we need to remove ourselves out of, you know, society a bit to really get to our own truth and understand ourselves. Because when it's doing this retrograde, we've got no time for illusions anymore. We want the truth, and the truth will be different for each of us, even though the truth may be hard for us and we might feel more anxious. I will say, actually, I do have Neptune. I keep doing this today. Mercury's retrograde, so forgive me. But Neptune, I have that retrograde in my birth chart. So I do find that when I've seen Neptune go retrograde for, you know, the on the chart for all of us, that because of my Neptune retrograde, I will get there, because of my Neptune retrograde, I actually do feel more at home in the world. I sort of understand something because it's my birth given Neptune was retrograde. So it's where we're going to be calling things out, and we'll be able to see the truth through any lies. And also, we don't want to mess up. So it's better that we're honest and we own up to our mistakes during this period of time. And also, we're going to have a look at my chart so you can see where it's going on for me, and then you can begin to work out what it's going to mean for you, because each house means something specific. We want to get all of our house in order, basically, so it's a good time that we get rid of untruths at this time. Another look at this chart, I would say that let's see what's hitting Neptune here. Neptune is sextile to Pluto at this time as well. So you can see here that Pluto is sextile Neptune. And also, I'm going to see if there's any other Neptune stuff going on here. We've got Jupiter is also sextile to Neptune, you can see here as well. So as this goes retrograde, it's going to be in alignment here. So that's going to hold out for a while. Let's go a little bit forward. I'm going to take this forward by a month and see what happens. Watch the Neptune here at 20 degrees. And it's still 20 degrees retrograde there. So then it's going to be in it's going to be exact sextile at that point. So that's 25th of July. And then we've got Neptune will still be sextile to Pluto and also Jupiter at that time. The moon comes in on that day as well at 22 degrees. So we've got sextiles going on there to Pluto. And then we also have a trine going on. And we've got Lilith in the play. We'll be catching up with Mars. So that energy can be very bolstery at that time, because Lilith is to do with our inner rage and Mars is to do with our direction. So it'll be interesting to see what plays out then. But we've also got these squares going on to Mars at that time as well. So there will be a lot of energy going on that will be hard for us maybe at this time. And we've also got at that time, it looks like we've got the moon will be sextile to trine Uranus. There you go. And then we've got an opposition of Mars to Mercury, and that's in September. So if we keep going forward, we can see that these planets, you know, up here, Pluto was 22 degrees in January, and they've all met up again in the sign of Capricorn. So it'll be interesting to see how this year plays out. And if we take this chart up into November, when Neptune will then be in its few last degrees of retrograde, you can see here, then all of these planets up here, Pluto, Jupiter and Saturn are out of retrograde at this time as well, which is good for us because they will begin to move forward. And we've got retrograde there, 18 degrees. And we've got a Neptune sextile, trine to Mercury. And what else is there? So you can see this is beautiful to, you know, understand what's going on. And also if you scroll down, you can see more detail. You can do this by day. Here you can do it by minute, you can do it by hour, you can do it by 12 hours, the day, the week, the month. So if we go to my own chart now and some clarity, I've got my IC is 20 degrees 33 minutes on my IC. So that Neptune is going retrograde on my IC. It's my 4th house. So this is a time where I do need to feel secure. So I need people around me that understand my emotions. And as this Neptune enters into my 4th house, it's a time when I'll probably be looking to, you know, move near water, move overseas, leaving my childhood any traumas behind, because I've also got my Chiron conjunct Saturn there. So this is the wound. And we've got here Saturn, which is about restriction, which I had as a child at home. So, you know, it's going to mean different things for each of us. My Neptune at birth was at 20 degrees of Scorpio in the 12th house. And I have got a trine. You can see that I've got a trine that's 20 degrees, 20 degrees. So I've got a nice trine that's going on at the moment, my Neptune transit to my natal Neptune. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'll be back in a couple of days with something else. And just check on your chart, or if you need help, then I do read charts and I'm able to talk you through what this will probably mean for you this period of time, not just Neptune, but the totality of the chart. Example, you know, we've got at the moment Mercury retrograde and stuff like this going on. This is the 9th of September 2020, this chart. And if I go back, actually, this might be useful for you to understand how to do this. If I go back and I go back again. Okay, so what I want, I'm going to go back, and what you can see that on this chart, I've got my name up here. You can see I've got other people that I've filled in because I work on charts. You can get a price. There's a deal on this where you can add up to 1,000 charts. So it's worth looking at astro.com. And then if I go back to here, you can see September. If I go back to June and I go back to, let's say today is the 24th, we'll put that in there. And then I click on go. And then I click on my chart. I'm going to show you where my Mercury is at the moment. It's good if you can do this for yourself as well, so you can see what I'm doing. So you can see that I've got Mercury retrograde going on here at the moment, and my Neptune is on my IC. You can see that if you go to this section here, I've got Neptune, 20 degrees Scorpio at birth, and it's 20 degrees at the moment, and it's just going to go retrograde there. You see it there with the small r. And then all of these other planets define what's going on for us. So I've got my Pluto, Jupiter and Saturn in my 2nd house, which is to do with my values and my needs and the way I am dealing with myself and what I'm restructuring, what my truth is, and also where I'm transforming as well. That's it. I'll leave it there. And look at if you look below this page or the video, you'll be able to see my booking page if you want me to go through your chart with you. Thanks for watching.